Hello, and what's going on, people? I was thinking about something. There's a very important question that we have to ask ourselves every morning after we wake up. You get the coal out of your eyes, you brush your teeth, you get yourself situated. Your coffee, it doesn't make a difference how you start your day, praying, meditating, whatever. We have to ask ourselves, who are we? Better yet, who are you? And then you have to be true to whoever it is that you say that you are. That your word is your bond. That if you say that you're an honest, upright person, that you conduct yourself in that manner all day, every day. If you a thief, then be a thief. And when the consequences falls down upon you, then let them be what they may. And the reason I brought this up is I've been watching a show called The Shy. A young man on the show is starting to date his best friend's girlfriend. And these are children, 13 to 15 years old. So he started life off with lack of loyalty, no respect for day one. The young lady is putting herself in a position where she's a pass around and she needs to actually look in the mirror, find out who she is. And this young man needs to find out who he is because he has shown that he cannot even be trustworthy to his day one friend. So I just ask you once again, do you have to figure out who you are or do you know who you are? Do you know from the jump every day you wake up that not a different person is looking back at you in the mirror, but you are sound and assured that the person that you see in the mirror, you know them. You know them. You're honest with, if you're not honest with anybody else in the world, you're deadly honest with that person 100% of the time. And see, we can do that, when we learn to do that, we can become better to ourselves. We have a responsibility to be as good to ourselves as humanly possible. Can you stomach being broke but doing nothing about having no money? Then that's who you are. I mean, if enough is never enough, you have to figure that out also. There are so many keys to the puzzle. There are so many pieces that have to be properly placed on this puzzle, this mosaic of life, so that life is not hard. To make life easy, the easiest thing that you can do in life is just be who you are, but you have to accept who you are first. Your faults, your strong points, and your weaknesses. You can build up your weaknesses if they're character based. You cannot do anything about your DNA. You can do nothing about your genetics. You can't wake up one day if you're 5'4" and say, I'm going to be 6'9". It doesn't happen like that. We know that. I know I'm not talking to a fool, so I'm not trying to play you that way. But the things about us that we can change, we can change. If you don't like your body, resculpt your body, change your diet. You don't like the way your skin is, then work on your skin. I mean, there is no such thing as winter feet, people. Keep your fucking feet proper all year round. I mean, that's just an example. You don't have to wait for certain times. There's no winter body and then summer body. You're just gonna go crazy working out like a lunatic to try to get yourself to where you feel you need to be. You know, and now we'll get back to that later, but I just want to put that seed in the ground, figuring out each and every day who you are or who I am because I ask myself. And this way I don't have to question my acts. I don't have to question my activities. I don't have to question myself about how I conduct myself because I accept who I am as who I am. I'm not trying to change everything. I'm trying to change little bits to improve day by day. And then over the long haul, if you do a little each day, if you chip away at a mountain, pretty soon you have a hole in that mountain. You have a cave. And you want to build that warm cave of your personality, your bank account, your reliability, your loyalty, or lack thereof. You can build these things. So the Haitian president was assassinated this week. They attacked him in his home. They shot his wife. Uh, like 20 something suspects have been detained. I don't know what's going on in Haiti. And I'm not going to pretend to sit here and act to you like I do. But for the man to be murdered in his home in front of his wife is pretty dastardly. I mean, that is something that usually does not happen worldwide. I wish Haiti nothing but the best. I hope that they can get some good leadership to step in there and that the world doesn't ignore them as they usually ignore this country. Haiti has never been forgiven for being the first black republic. It has never been forgiven for being the first black country to rebel against slavery. It has never been forgiven by the white world for anything. People look down upon Haiti. Those are human beings. I have nothing but uh, good vibes that I hope that they can turn this thing around, that they can finally become some kind of little power or have stability, or that the people can eat and strive and survive. So I'm sending nothing but love to Haiti, and I really wish that things, if we can help, let us help. But let's not help America if we want to really cause more friction. Let's not help if we really want to put the people that we want in power so that they could be our puppets. But you know how politics goes, you know how the world runs. So Suzanne Douglas, who used to be on the Parenthood with Robert Townsend, she passed away this week at the age of 64. UCLA's winning football coach, Terry Donahue, passed away this week also at 77. Richard Donner, who directed Superman, The Goonies, and Lethal Weapon franchise, died at 91. A young man from the Columbus Blue Jackets, he died in a fireworks accident. Matiss, Kivlenieks. He was only 24 years old, and obviously this thing blew up in his chest. I heard it was a tragic mistake. He wasn't playing with fireworks or anything like that. It, some fireworks went off, and like a gunshot, it hit him in the chest. I mean, 24 years old, a chance to change his family's whole existence by being an NHL player, making tons of money. Life just gone. And Robert Downey Sr., Robert Downey Jr.'s father, passed away this week also. He was 85. Now, I have an interesting story about Robert Downey Sr. He made a movie called Putney Swoops. Putney Swoops is a very bizarre film. A co-worker of my wife, who ironically used to be a co-worker of me, my co-worker, became later on in life my wife's co-worker. So he had stories to tell her that, kind of confirmed some of the things that I said about myself, not knowing that he knew her, and him not knowing that he knew me. But he seen my picture on her desk and was like, I know that guy. But Pitney Swoops is a very bizarre film. It's very hard to explain. You could look it up on Wikipedia. You could see it. I enjoy the movie. It's crazy. A black man becomes militant, takes over Madison Avenue advertisement firm, I believe, and the lunatics that he brings in. I mean, it's just a crazy story. Robert Downey Sr. also gave us Magnolia, To Live and Die in L.A. He gave us Boogie Nights. We all know Boogie Nights. Chick Vennera. He died at the age of 74. He was on the Golden Girls and doing that dance scene at Thank God It's Friday. COVID is now up to 35 million cases here in America. 623,000 people have died, and we have at least one shot vaccination for 335 million people. Worldwide, we're up to 188 million cases, and 4.1 have died. Now, we got this Delta variant. This Delta variant is a mother effer. People are not going back and getting these second shots. If you have not got your second shot, please, I am begging you, do the right thing, man. If you don't want to do the right thing for you, do the right thing for the world. Do the right thing so that we can put this shit down, because an infection rate has risen in 42 states here in America. I mean, there are some countries who are still not able to travel to America because they don't have this under control. We need to get this under control so we can put this behind us. Don't we want to all put this COVID-19 behind us before whatever next comes next? So we got a crazy heat wave here in America. Right now, we're averaging about 91 degrees here in North Carolina. Uh, and that's every day. It's not oppressive heat, but 91 is 91. Uh, Death Valley hit 130. Fires are just happening all over the West Coast because of the heat wave, and I'm hoping that cool weather will come. Rain. I mean, if the Lord above will bless the planet, please do so. So Michael Avenatti, who used to be that woman, the porn star attorney who sued Donald Trump, her name escapes me right now. I think it was Summer something. Well, he's been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for trying to shake down Nike and some $25 million extortion deal. You know, he's this is a he has shamed himself. He's probably disbarred, I'm figuring. He is really a lunatic. I mean, I don't understand how he could have took where he was at one point. He was the guy. He was the guy. He was the guy who was fighting Trump publicly and saying, I got the goods on you. Didn't he be celebrity? Celebrity. Something about celebrity cameras and adulation really screws people up badly. I mean, I have not reached any form of success, so I don't understand how that works. I'm talking about celebrity success. As far as life goes, I feel I'm pretty successful. I have no criminal record. I get to do what I want. I eat every day. I'm blessed. But I am talking about like known by the masses, where your face pops up on the screen and people know your name just from your picture. No, I have not been anywhere near that. And I don't know how that really would core affect you, but I know that it seems like some people, it really eats them alive, and that camera becomes like a heroin addiction, and they can't shake it, and they start doing things that they shouldn't do. And then in the long run, you always pay the piper. I've been watching some TV. I go through some TV shows I've been watching lately. Mr. In Between, which he's no longer Mr. In Between. And actually, we're coming to the very end of this show. I'm getting ready to finish this series off. I don't know how it's going to end. Last week was crazy. Him and a woman that he hooked up with were out in the desert in Australia. They ran into a kangaroo, and then lunacy ensued. The Ultimate Fighter has been very good. The Brian Ortega team versus the Boskalowski team. They started doing a little bit of pranks. I don't know where it's gonna go from here. Ortega's team was up 4-zip, but Boskalowski's team has won the last two. The fights have been interesting, so I'm enjoying that. Hell's Kitchen is Hell's Kitchen. It's just enjoyable. It made me even think about on my next trip to Vegas going to Hell's Kitchen. So I did some YouTube research, and it's pretty much the same menu that you see on the show, and I'm not interested in spending $80, $90 eating some beef Wellington, so I think I'm going to pass on that. Kevin can go fuck himself. A dark comedy where the wife is now trying to kill her husband, Kevin. Kevin is a piece of shit, people. He is one of the worst husbands in the history of sitcoms. He treats his wife like less than a dog. He's a nothing, and he makes her feel like she should kiss the ground he walks on, and she's so lucky to have him. But she's an idiot too. I just like it because it's such a bizarre show. Master Chef I watch, I guess, because sometimes I need something during the day to watch. It is a horrible cooking show, but I'm still into it. The Shy was the show that I was talking about. The Shy is what gave me the bug in my ear to think about who you are, because there are characters on this show who kind of don't make sense but make sense. I don't see a young man betraying his very best friend since 4 or 5 years old over a female that he's not even really that interested in. But this is written by and I'm not going to blame this as an excuse. This show is written by a lesbian woman, and she has a lot of male characters, and I don't think she really knows how to write male characters, because the only upstanding person on the show happens to be a lesbian character. One of the lesbian characters. The other one is an idiot too. She's been doing stupid shit lately that made no sense. I rewatched a movie that I seen years ago called Rise about dancing crumping out in California. If you have never seen Rise, give Rise a chance, man. Rise is a great film. It's a good little quick documentary. You will enjoy it. The dancing comes from the heart. I mean, this is some good shit. I watched also a documentary called Mavis. It's about Mavis Staples, the legendary, iconic Mavis Staples. It was a good documentary. I love Mavis. I love the music that she puts down. She didn't go crazy with the religion. She talked to you like a person. She never talked down. It was a very interesting and enjoyable documentary. I got into Barry. Now, I never watched Barry before. Barry is two seasons right now. I believe it'll be back for the third and fourth. COVID and the pandemic has slowed down production, but this is a show about a hitman who decides when he comes to California that he wants to be an actor. Henry Winkler, who played the Fonz in Happy Days, is fantastic. This is a great show. Half an hour episodes. You will enjoy it, I think. Give it a try. I also watched The American Dream, The American Nightmare, as in Suge Knight. This was a documentary about Suge Knight done a couple of years ago, but they put the tail end of what has happened to him recently into it. It's very interesting. It's really basically just the director and Suge goes through a lot of stuff, some things you might have never heard before, and a lot of things that he said that he's been accused of. He kind of dispelled those rumors and myths because what he said made perfect sense. But I'll let you be the judge of that yourself. Just give it a try. Once again, that's The American Dream, American Nightmare. Not as Nigth, it's in Knigth, Mare. Flatbush Misdemeanors is a bizarre show. So is Black Monday, but I find them both very enjoyable. Um, it seems like comedies nowadays are not straightforward. This is not your mother and father's comedy. This ain't no more Dick Van Dyke straight ahead at you, Lucy. This is bizarre shit that nine different things go together to fit into a puzzle. So, you know what? I kind of like the writing. Tyson Fury tested positive for COVID. His camp had an outbreak, so his bout with Deontay Wilder, which was scheduled for July 24th, will not take place. They postponed it to October, sometime in October. And I would like to say congratulations to Miss Zaila Avant-Garde. She won the 2021 Scripps National Spelling Bee, becoming the very first Black champion at the age of 14. Congratulations again, Miss Zaila Avant-Garde. Um, I don't know how you get to spell all those words. I don't know how you have it in your mind. My mind is not set for words like that. My mind is set for numbers. I went to college. I did well. But you know what? My wife's a great speller. Me, not so much. I can spell. I'm no freaking idiot or nothing like that. But spelling is not my strongest suit. And you know what? I'm always impressed. And I'm super impressed because this has been something that's been won by Indian kids like forever. So I was shocked to see that a person of color, a African American, a black person won. This week we got the British Open. It seemed like a lot of people are dropping out of the British Open because of COVID. They have some super tight restrictions. I'm not going to go through all of those now, but I'm super excited to watch a major. I'm glad that a major is being played this week. I love golf. If you've ever heard Strange Talk with Doc, you know that I'm a big golf head. And Sha'Carri Richardson was denied a spot on the Olympic relay team. This one I don't get. Okay, she was banned for a month, which would have cost her a chance to run in solo races. But wouldn't we want to have the very best females represent our team? This wasn't crack cocaine. This wasn't heroin. This wasn't uh, performance enhancements. This was not methamphetamine. This was marijuana, people. Marijuana. You take the 30-day, but you make her wait 4 years. Thank God she's a baby. She's only like 21 or 23, something like that. Don't quote me. But I think we send your very best. I mean, are we just trying to lose to Jamaica and Great Britain? I mean, this pisses me off. I don't think it's right. So Tampa Bay Lightning repeats as the Stanley Cup champions. They won last year. The Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. So right now, Tampa Bay is feeling itself. Good for them. This weekend we had the UFC, McGregor versus Poirier 3. As we all know, Conor broke that ankle, leg, whatever it was. It looked bad. Conor was classless. He has to realize who he is. He has to look in the mirror and say, what I said was abomination. To call a man's wife a whore on a pay-per-view with millions of people watching was way below the belt. Dustin should never have a drop of respect for him. Magomedov seems to not have a drop of respect for him. I mean, Conor, money don't buy you a drop of class. It'll buy you a suit. It'll buy you the fucking home. It'll buy you vacations. It'll put your kids through school. It'll feed you, but not a drop of class. He is so classless as he gets older. I mean, this is not, he's on the ground. He's not selling a fight anymore. He could become a human. But when he looks in the mirror, he wants to see the most dastardly, nasty person he could possibly be. And that's who he decides he wants to be. And there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to respect that kind of act. Because when you get to a certain age, you can't act like you're 13. I understand you're selling the fight. This is post-fight, meaning the fight has already been sold to everybody who's ever going to buy it. You can become human. Greg Hardy got knocked out by Tyvasa, and he went around and he did his drinking out of disgusting drinking beer out of the shoe thing. But you want to know something? Those two guys, it was very short, but they were throwing fire at each other. I thought the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson Gilbert Burns fight was very good. Max Griffin was perfection versus Carlos Condit. He kept Carlos to the point where Carlos couldn't really tee off on him. Max was moving in and out. There was some very good. This was one of the best pay-per-views that I've seen from the UFC in a long time. The crowd gave energy. The fighters were on point. I mean, there was knockouts. There was blood. Jessica Eye, not to be funny or anything, she literally got a cut in the middle of her head that made it seem like she had a third eye. So by the end of that fight, Jessica Eye literally had an eye in the middle of her head. It was crazy. It was almost down to the bone. If my wife thought it was to the bone. I mean, that was some cutting. It was off the head, but it wasn't a punch or an elbow. But it wasn't dirty. They just banged heads. This week we got another UFC fight card coming up. And Miesha Tate returned. She's fighting Marion Renault. And it's been a long time since Miesha Tate has fought. She's had a couple of children. I would like to see what she has in the tank. Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens, after his debacle at the weigh-in face-off where he pushed the person and got suspended for a while, he's coming back to fight. Thiago Moses is fighting on this card. Matter of fact, he's in the main event. And this picture for the Los Angeles Angels, Shohei Ohtani became the first person in Major League history to be voted into an All-Star game, not only as a hitter, but also as a pitcher. This dude is hitting bombs all over the place. I mean, he is rewriting what you cannot do. The limitations that you have are stated by others. They are not stated by you. If you believe them, then they become your limitations. But if you have no limitations, this man said, I'm going to hit, I'm going to play in the field, and I'm also going to be an awesome pitcher. And he had to believe in that. See, he knew who he is. He looked in the mirror and said, I have all of this. I'm not going to let you tell me what I do and do not have. I have everything. So Congratulations to you, man. Big up. The Milwaukee Bucks won last night to pull within one game. So now the Phoenix Suns are up 2-1. I still believe that Milwaukee Bucks can pull this series out. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been playing outstanding basketball. I think he's dropped 41 and 10 2 nights in a row, which has only been done like by one other person. His name is Shaquille O'Neal. So, you know what? I think this series is far from over, but let's see what happens in Milwaukee for game 4, because if they go down 3-1, going into Phoenix is not going to be easy. Phoenix Suns are winning at home at a crazy rate. Uh, Booker, Paul, Crowder, those guys have really turned that thing around, and I'm talking about lickety split. It took them no time to turn that team around. So the Suns can't lose. I mean, they're playing with house money. The Bucks have more pressure because they've been knocking at this door. They've had the two-time MVP on the team. They got another All-Star in Middleton. They got Brooks. So a lot is expected out of them. A lot is expected out of them, especially with no LeBron, no Kawhi in the championship. This would be hard to live down that he didn't take this brass ring while it's hanging right in his face. So once again, people, before I get out of here, just look in that mirror. You ain't got to do it for me because I'm nobody to you. But to do it for yourself, I trust me, it will change your life. Just take the next 7 days. Every time you look in that mirror in the morning and you say, hey, who are you? What are you about? What exactly are you about? And then live it. Whatever you say that you are about, because our voices have power. If you're a religious person, the world, mankind was built on words. Just the word of God alone spoke into existence things. Speak something to existence into that person in the mirror, be you male or be you female. Speak it into existence that you are good, you are strong, you can succeed, and there's nothing that you cannot do within reason. Like I said, don't be fooled. You can't go from 5'1" to 6'9". See, we have to be realistic about who and what we say we are and what we want. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell you each and every time, people, peace to you and peace to yours. And I'll be back next week. Peace out.